Getting right into that then.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lost in the Rabbit Hole. Today's guest is Mark Manley with Dark Mirror Radio, who happens to be the alien guy of Dark Mirror Radio. I didn't get a chance to do that. I just get to be the American guy. Welcome. It's great to have you on.
Nice to see you again, mate. Okay. Normally the other way around, isn't it?
Right?
So how you doing? What you up to? What you doing?
I'm doing great. So, should we get right into your experiences, Mark? Finally, we can see his face. I asked this guy to send me a picture, and he sends me a picture of his bike. I love it though. It's great. It had some character to you, some depth. He's the alien bike guy.
I mean, no, I'm going to be going out on the bike. There's a few places around where I live that had very recent alien sightings or UFO sightings, and I'm going. It's like woods and fields and stuff. So I'm going out on the bike investigating in the next few days for the next couple of weeks.
Right on.
Plus, we have very hard chance for something exciting coming next year for aliens. So there you go.
I mean, right. I'm excited about that. I think are we gonna keep that under wraps for a while yet, or okay? What else about that? We'll have an episode just dedicated to that when it pops. Uh, Anywho, today's episode is about you. So,
what do you want to know?
what turned you into the alien guy?
When before I joined the Dark Mirror radio show, it was done by the other people, and I was asked on as a guest, and then I was asked to be a regular presenter on it. And they used to do all different aspects of the paranormal and this and that. And it didn't matter what the topic was, I'd always find a link to aliens. And whenever I found a link to aliens, I'd wait until my co-host realised it was going down the alien rabbit hole, and you'd see her on the you'd see her go, oh, and that was it. That was how I got the moniker, the alien guy. Because every single time, no matter what, I find a link to it.
So when you were first doing like the Dark Mirror show and being an investigator, it always just kept leading back to aliens for you, huh? That's wild.
Now the show's done. I own the show, and now the show's done how I originally wanted it to be done, which is with lots of laughs. You'll get our presenters from America, so we've got the American side of it, you've got Wayne's side of it, and then you got my side of it, which like when we talk, it's out there, it's people in the conversation, So yeah, and that's what I like about it, because we have a topic, and then we go, here's the topic, and then we talk about everything else, and then get the topic back, and then start talking about that again. So yeah.
Right. We definitely do have fun in Dark Mirror.
It's good fun. It's good fun. And before I forget, lasers.
What was that?
Monday lasers. Remember the lasers?
Laser, yeah.
We talk about them on Monday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I got a few stories. I got a few stories. I got a few laser stories I can bring up on Monday. If I'm there Monday, day before my birthday, and it's a holiday, so we'll see.
If you're not, don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. It was our bank holiday last.
Yeah, it's Labor Day for us on Monday.
What is Labour Day? I mean, we don't know this. Well, a lot of it. What is Labour Day?
A bunch of workers said they couldn't take it anymore and told the government to fuck off, and it turned into a big shootout between them. And they killed a bunch of the workers, and the workers killed a bunch of the government soldier dudes. And now we get a day
I don't
off.
know what to do over here. Yeah, fair enough.
That's what they taught us in college, and they're like, "See, so if your boss ever is like, can you work on Labor Day?" You say, "Fuck you! People died for this day."
Yeah,
Literally, I had a professor tell me that.
we have stuff like that over here, but at the moment, the way things are going, I can see things happening over here. It's not going to be very nice.
that that, and we also abolished the whole allowing children to work in mines and all that good stuff.
That's a shame because I can think of many a gobby 10-year-old who needs to get up the chimney or go down a mine. But yeah,
Man, no more Minecraft. Get out there, pick some stones. It's time to build some character.
you remember that? Mine grabbed my card. Well,
Man, I keep worrying that Rachel's gonna come out and lay down a card during my episode.
we'll work for Minecraft. What do you want to know then?
Anyways, so let's talk about your first alien experience. You want to get into that?
Yeah, can do. The only time I've ever seen one up close was that one I told you about when I was with my late mum. When I was little, I'm guessing 6, 7, 8, something like that. I used to live in a little tiny country lane, sort of went like that, and it had fields all the way around it. And my mum and I were no, I was looking out the front window, and I saw this weird thing in the field off there, and I said to my mum, "What's that?" And she came over and I looked, and said, "Oh, I don't know." And it was a cigar. It was a cigar. It was a brick red colour. Still, I can still see it in up here. It was brick red colour. Um, Now I'd estimate it to be 75 to 100 feet long. Um, and then, like you had our house, the lane, hedge, and then you had the field and a line of trees, and it was this side of the line of trees, and you could see it, and it was on like my hand, it was like legs like that, each end, and there was like a doorway at the end. But when we first saw it, you couldn't see the doorway. Um, and we were talking, and I'm saying, I don't know what the hell that is. And we looked again, and then all of a sudden there's like a doorway open. We didn't see it open, but it was just like at the back, it come out. So imagine the back of it come out like that, like that. We didn't see it come out, we didn't see it go in, and the doorway
Like
was
your
open.
classic,
Yeah,
doors that like goes down like a brick. Yeah. How
we
many
didn't know if
hours
it
do you
was
think?
something like that. We don't know.
How many hours do you think it was around you guys?
Well, that's the weird thing because I think it was around lunchtime, something like that. And me and my mum were there. We didn't move, and we didn't watch it for too long. Maybe about 20 minutes, half an hour. But the weird thing is when we looked at the time again, it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'd lost 2, 3 hours somehow. And it was something that my mum and I never really talked about growing up. We talked about it a couple of times, and she'd always like, yeah, but she wouldn't talk about it. So I don't know. I know we lost 2, 3 hours, but we were still in the same place, looking out the window at this thing. And the next time we looked, when the time was gone, when we looked again, the thing was gone. So I don't know.
Do you think you and your mom were aboard that craft? Looking back on this,
Excuse my language, but I fucking love it. If we were, I say awesome. But I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. I genuinely couldn't tell you unless they went, "Oh, an alien," you know. Um, so I don't know. It just seems weird that I see. I put the missing time, down to me when I was a kid. You know, I'm 52 years old now.
Right, right, right. Maybe just your concept of time was off. I think everybody's concept of time is actually wrong. But
Yeah,
that's a subject for another tale, another episode.
the time.
um, it's interesting too because you see the same craft that my grandfather was seeing too, down to a T.
Really,
Yeah, red cigar shaped craft.
it's
So maybe
correct.
it's the same guys.
I see that I don't remember seeing any beings, people, whatever. But my brain keeps nudging me towards, for want of a better word, silver suits, but I can't see the head. And they're about the same
I
size as
think I think you should talk to one of our medium friends. I have like three of them. One of three you could talk to. That's what happened with me too with all this. Is I kept seeing different mediums, and they're like, "This is what happens," and I was like, "Oh, maybe you're lying." And then I go and saw another one. I was like, "Oh, maybe you know that other person." And then I saw the third, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is what's happening."
wanted to be regressed because there's a couple of things I wanted to be regressed about that. If it can pick up any details I can't remember.
I've
Um,
been wanting to do that too.
my past life, I've had a thing always since I was a kid. I've always known this one particular thing, and I don't know why. And it's to do with a past life, and it's to do with a war and something famous. And I've always wanted to be. I don't know who it is, but I've always wanted to be regressed, see just what the hell it is I'm doing here. You know.
Right?
And that might explain the loss of my hand and my foot.
Right?
So my
Too close
grandkids
to a cannon.
almost think I had a scrap with a dinosaur. And he took my hand, he took my foot, he pierced my ear, and he took my hair. I was talking to my other grandson. Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so
I
you've
see.
told them stories, huh? Grandpa defends us from the reptilians. They took me hair.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. You know, I used to teach kickboxing in my class.
Yeah.
Um, one time when I was teaching, it was in a. Can you stop flashing and taking the camera? Go. That's it. I wouldn't do like that.
Is that
That's not.
Ghost?
Yeah, hang on. Hello.
I knew it was Ghost. Hello, Ghost.
Yeah, Bob Ghost and Lilo. But yeah, when I was teaching kickboxing, this is about 20 years ago. I used to have to tubey grip my metal leg because my knee dislocated. And I used to have to tubey grip so that I could do all the kicks and nothing would happen. And I then did a jump spinning back kick, and this is in skiff rally, yeah. So I've jumped up the air, span round, kick. This is in front of my all my pupils. My leg has flown off, gone straight down the middle of the skiffle alley, and it's stuck in the top of a 6 foot PA speaker. My one leg, and I'm like, my entire class are on the floor, fixing themselves laughing. My assistant instructor is just leant against the wall, tears coming down his face. He couldn't even talk. And I hopped down there, got my leg out of the thing, put it on, and said, if anybody wants me, I'll be in the bar. And I walked out and went to the bar. I couldn't face him for the rest of the night. My assistant instructor had to take a look at the class. True story.
Do a good old Muay Thai block, shin block, and be like, have your leg kicked off to you and be like, what did you do? What did you do?
When I was British lightweight champion, and then I was British cruiserweight champion. And when I won the, was it lightweight? Yeah, when I won the lightweight, because I used to be 10 stone. When I won the lightweight one, the guy cheated. He blindsided. He knocked his pad round, and he tried to do full pelt shin kick against me. And I always blocked like that. And he kicked Kevlar and plaster mix. This is my seat. He kicked that full pelt with his shin, and his leg went like that. He folded up, and as he went down, I went smack, and that was it. I won the title. And then he came up.
Hey, Rob. How's it going? Sorry.
He came up to me afterwards. He's like, "How the hell did you do that?" And I showed him, and he went, "Oh!" And I'm like, "You stupid." So yeah, and now I'm heavyweight now. So.
Ooh. I imagine that probably threw him off too so bad when he connected with you. He probably had no idea what was going on. Probably just like,
yeah. And it's just the way he folded up. He sort of went, and you saw his face go.
Oh yeah, right on this shit.
Right there. So yeah.
He should have been a Muay Thai fighter. If he would have been kicking that gum streak, he would have been able to just not even felt your leg.
So yeah.
Hey Rob, guy from another show, and you're a typical skeptic. We got to have him on Dark Mirror Radio one day. He'd be a good guest.
I'm just going to go to the. Well, there you go. Typical skeptic. You need to come and watch the Dark Mirror Radio show as well.
Every Monday, 3:30 Central Time.
So yeah, UFOs. I am a firm believer. Always have been. We're not alone in this universe. We're completely alone in the universe. You're arrogant as hell. There's no bloody way there. No way.
Let's hear about your second experience, one with Wayne. Let's dive into that.
Oh, yeah. We were in Rendlesham Forest, which is like our not Area 51. What's the thing that happened in the 1943 over there? Roswell. It's like our Roswell over there.
Roswell.
Yeah. Well, we were there filming. We were doing something for the TDT, and we were doing it for the Dark Mirror show as well. And then there was about 10 of us there, and we went into the forest, and we went to the UFOs been built as a monument for where the landing was, but it's not built in the field because it was just over there. But where the monument is, you can still see the clearing, but the actual meeting took place in the field because then that was the second day. But where this UFO monument is, we were taking a break in filming, and we were just leaning against it. You can sort of lean against it and sit on it, and it's pitch black. And 3 or 4 of them have gone off to go and get some more spotlights because it was that back. And me and Wayne and Patty and us just looking up, and then we've gone, what the hell is that? And like literally, it's the clearing where it originally happened. And if you look at it in the daytime, you can see how far back the tree line was, for how big the circle was. And we were just looking up. And we can you stop shaking the camera? Lie down, woman. Oh, I'm talking to ghosts. Lie down. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, and we've looked up, and there's 3 points of light. Now the thing was, it was a starry sky. Stars all over the place. There were these 3 points of light like that. Bing, 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 and there was nothing. There was no stars inside that triangle. And we've gone, what the hell? We didn't hear it arrive, didn't hear it go. We've managed to take some photos of it, which if you look on our Dark Mirror site, you'll see it on there. And then as we're watching this, we've seen, if you see, those of you out there and you yourself know, there's a very, very big difference between seeing a helicopter, a plane or a jet, or these international space stations. There's a very big difference between those and UFOs. UFOs, like the space station does, they don't normally have flashing lights, and they're normally like a really weird orange colour for some reason, if that's a light, or bright white, but with no other lights. And we're there, and we're just we've taken the photos, and then all of a sudden this always like this, like that. And about 2 seconds afterwards, a jet had been scrambled and went straight after it. And then after that, there was another one went that way with another jet following it, and there was another one that went like that. It sort of oscillated like in a wavelength. I don't know what that was about, but it went like that, and another jet went after that, and we were like, oh. And then everybody came back who's gone to get spotlights, and we were like, guess what you just bloody missed. And we told them, and they were kicking themselves because of all places to be, Rendlesham Forest, where the UFO landed, looking up, and we see not just one, not two, not three, but 4 UFOs. So, and that triangle that we saw, we estimated its size because of where it was. It was way up. It's above the stratosphere, but we estimated the size to be about 4 football pitches at least. It was huge, and I mean huge. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, we went back there again, but we didn't see anything that time.
Do you think it was the TR-3B?
I think a lot of what we see is from Earth. Whether it's from its top secret stuff or whether it's from under the Earth, I don't know. But I do think a lot of what we see is of Earth origin. But I also think that a lot of it that we see is not Earth origin.
So. Yeah, I know. With you being a military man and coming from a military family, we had discussed this on Dark Mirror before. We both acknowledged that both of our governments, militaries, are about 300 years ahead of everybody in technology, easily, if not even further than that.
Yeah, if you look at a lot of the whistleblower stuff, and I mean the genuine whistleblowers, I don't mean the ones that go, oh yeah. I mean the proper ones, the ones who suddenly get knocked off and taken out. I'm sorry, did I say they were knocked off? I mean, they suddenly come down with a case of death. The stuff that they speak about and the technology that they speak about seeing down in the bases at the Nazca lines and everything like that, they talk about these tablets that control everything, and it's literally like Jean-Luc Picard's tablet that you use, you know. And that they reckon they're about 100 to 300 years ahead of us in technology, but it's only in these secret black ops places. You know, like all the cures for cancer and everything, and a lot of these diseases, they got them.
Oh yeah.
But they make more money in preventative measures rather than curing. So, you know, that's why it might ever be released. Alternative sources of power, you know, they've got 0-point modules. They've had endless things, and they just take them out.
There's more money in being a warring, combative race than being a free energy and free loving race. You can't control that.
The thing is, I wish that those that are watching us out there, I think
there's no tax.
Yeah,
I was going to say, there's no tax bracket on free energy.
What's the same as weed? You know, the only reason weed got made illegal when I looked into it is because it can be grown anywhere. You don't have to have specific conditions to grow it. It can literally be grown anywhere, and because it can.
You know who made it? You know who made it illegal too, right?
Well,
I said, you know who made it illegal too, right? One of the senators whose families was owner of all the major lumber industry in America at the time.
Sounds about right. So it's very strange.
Yeah.
Things like that. Very strange indeed. But
gave people hysteria.
Well, I'm hoping, because we've spoken about this before, all the ones up there that are watching, because I'm sure they must watch a load of us. Whether they watch our shows or not, I don't know. That'd be fucking awesome if they did. But I'm hoping that they look at a lot of us and go, actually, these guys are ready for us. They're ready for disclosure. The government, their governments are being arseholes. But these guys, the majority of these guys now are ready. They know we're here. They want us to come back. And I hope that they do actually go, hi. You know,
right? And I doubt it. Like I said, I've talked about this on Dark Mirror before. I feel like there is this whole like shadow government, and they're like suppressing information because they dug themselves so deep, and there's so many war crimes. They're just like, we'll just keep burying the evidence. Let's keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. And when we dig to the other side, we'll just dig to another. We'll just turn around and dig the other way.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds well. You know yourself when we spoke, because we speak about this very often on the Dark Mirror show. All the governments that have been open and honest are mainly South American, Italy, France has started opening up about it now, and some of the Eastern European countries have started coming out. Even Russia has said, "Yeah, we've had contact with them." You know, it's just the main NATO
Oh,
ones. It's
yeah,
who've not
America,
come.
yeah.
It's done. You know, with the advent of these, you know, now it's like, oh, click, and it's all around the world within seconds. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
What's the old adage? You can fool some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. We can
Right.
fool all the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time.
I like the shark scenario where not believing in aliens is like putting a spoon in the ocean and being like, "There's no sharks in my spoon, so there's no sharks in the ocean."
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing. Oh, no shark, no. You
Go
know,
out and see.
we have it. Every single pinprick of light that you see in that sky at night, for every star, there's two planets near that star capable of sustaining life. And it doesn't have to be carbon based like us. It could be silicon based. It could be some.
This
There's
is.
colours out there we can see.
I was gonna say too. There's the whole thing we have not had a chance to cover about. I don't know if you even saw this yet, but over here in America, there was some scientists, or it might not even been America. It might have been like Norway. I'll have to look into it. But anyway, some scientists figured out there's this type of rock in the ocean that produces oxygen. Did you see that?
Yes, yes, I
It's
did,
called
and they were,
organic oxygen.
and they've been trying to encroach. I can't remember which company it was, but they've been trying to encroach slowly towards these rocks so they can start harvesting them to get the gases and the oxygen out of them. And somebody's turned around and said, "No, you're not doing that." But yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
But that means all the ocean and water planets that we have seen, we have to go back and investigate. There's very well a possibility of life. Our whole basis of how we breathe is wrong.
Yep. Yep.
The thing about we
I
are a
think.
pretty dumb species for how old we are and how long we've been here. We really don't know shit. Like for instance, you
Well,
know,
the thing,
planes haven't changed in like 62 years. There has been no advancement in aerodynamics in 62 fucking years. That's strange.
we're not dumb, but the governments suppress everything, and anybody who
Hmm.
comes out and this, they vanish, and all their stuff that they've written vanishes. So we're not dumb; we're just suppressed. But it's now with the advent of everything, the technology and everything we've got now, we can start bringing this out there. But we're not trying to go out there to change the world. We're just trying to go out there to open people's eyes to what's actually there.
Absolutely.
Because I think the more people that look to the skies and start seeing things instead of putting their hands in their pocket and putting their head down and going, "Oh my God, it's just one, it's Jesus Christ." I'm like, no, Jesus was a real man, but he was a very bad man.
Demons! That's the one I hear online all the time. There are demons pulling you! Demons in crafts!
I'm just going to go
Look
buy
to
another.
Jesus!
Yeah, I think he was real. I think he was a very clever person. But from what I've read, you know yourself, going down various rabbit holes, they're trying to say he was part Anunnaki. A
What if he
lot
was
of them.
green? How funny would that be? We're all
I,
fighting
I,
about it. And it turns out he's like
I
this
don't see
little
why
gray
not.
dude.
Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to say that all the famous characters throughout history in all religions, they're trying to say that a lot of them were either part Anunnaki or they were left over from before the flood. So human
Right?
2.4, you know, the Atlanteans, like Thoth and that lot.
We talked
They think
about
that
that
they were.
too. I think there's a war between Mars and Atlantis. And I think we're probably the offshoot of both of them.
Well, they've got proof now that there's been nuclear strikes, airburst strikes that was above the surface of Mars, and you can see by the way the craters have gone and everything. You know?
Well,
And when
I
you
believe Mars is probably a beautiful jungle planet, and we probably got hit.
have you have you read the CIA report about the remote viewers who were given the
Yeah,
time
yeah,
of when
yeah.
they
The tall beings, the tall, lanky beings from Mars. Yeah.
that was interesting. That was very interesting. How they were saying their atmosphere was fucked and they'd left and they were waiting for them to come back and get them.
That's what I mean
It's like
too. I honestly think they probably blew themselves back into the Stone Age.
well, it's like the government's talking about on NASA and all that lot. Never a straight answer. Talking
Oh,
about
I believe they're completely just here to bullshit everybody. I mean, there's a fucking look at that video where Ronald. It wasn't not Ronald Reagan. It was Nixon. Nixon was fucking calling the astronauts on the moon with the landline from the White House.
yeah.
To the moon.
Oh,
Oh, good job, guys.
is it nice? They've been talking about the exoplanets. So was it Io? What are those planets up near Jupiter they've been talking about? There's Io.
Are you talking about Nibiru? Nibiru?
No, not Nibiru. The ones that they're thinking about sending probes to because they reckon we could actually.
Oh, I know there's one that they think that there's whales on.
That's right. That's the one I'm trying to think of.
The Kappa Napa
There's Kepler
2000.
2, Kepler 2b, whatever it is. But there's the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, isn't there? There's
Yeah.
Io, and there's two others. I can't remember their names. But they're the thing with me is they're sending probes up there, but they know that there's liquid water there, and they know this and know that. If they know all this, why would they only just be sending probes up
Oh, I believe that too. The whole Eisenhower saying that a Venetian was coming and talking to him. I believe all that, and that the White House completely was aware of it.
Well, they reckon, don't they, that there is life on Venus, even though it's this horrible atmosphere and this, that, and the other.
Well, they say there's artificial life coming or artificial light coming from it now too.
That's right, yeah. And
what the fuck would that be?
the Kepler telescope, hasn't it? It's seen life on that planet. And they were trying to say, no, it was this, it was reflecting, and it was the dark side of the planet where the sun doesn't get it, but it was reflecting. Well, if it was the dark side of the planet and there's reflections on that side as well, and the sun doesn't hit it, then what the fuck is it?
It's weird too because like you think like the pictures I've saw of Valiant Thor, if you know what I'm talking about, he looks like us. So I mean, we probably can thrive almost anywhere.
He does actually, and some of the stuff that he was saying.
He was just a big blonde. He looked like a Swedish dude.
Yeah. Well, there's also the legend of the Swedish ones landing in China, isn't there? In that cave, I can't remember where it is, but they landed in this. They crash landed and they went into this cave because they didn't scare the locals, and then they started intermingling with the locals, and that's why there's only one part of China where you get blonde-haired, blue-eyed Chinese people because they mixed with the ones we
like a boy,
in the cave. That one.
Huh,
See,
I want to do an episode with you just based on the whole Fae because I want to dig deep into that.
On the whole, what?
Fae?
Yeah. Like the 12th of the Danan and all that lot.
Yeah.
The Irish ones. They're the old ones. Yeah. And look, and High Brazil as well, because that's just off Ireland.
High Brazil, yeah, that's quite a rabbit hole itself. A lot of explorers have said they've been there. It's wild. When he told me about that, I looked in. I had like a whole day where I was just reading about it.
Well, I reckon that's where the Irish royalty, the original, the Fae, kings and queens of Ireland, came from. They came from High Brazil through a gateway. Can you stop this? Please, you're checking the camera. Wait, thank you. But they reckon that's where they came from, and they came from High Brazil and went and they landed on the south of Ireland and started setting up all the circles and everything in the south of Ireland. But I'm a firm believer that the Fae are much more. I think we know them now as aliens, and I think that once
Yeah,
they come through
one
doorways.
of one of my guests that was on too when she was abducted. She was like she was abducted and then like rescued. Saw something that looked like a fairy, and it really wanted to touch her, and it was really excited to see her. And it was she was really confused about it too because she was on a craft.
That's
I should
interesting.
introduce you to her. She pops on in our chat sometimes.
See, I think my own thing. There was the reset when the Great Flood happened, and that floods in every single religious text, and it doesn't matter what religion you are. All the main events that happen in the Bible happen in all different religious texts, and they all happen on the same time. But I reckon before the Great Flood, because we had Atlanteans, and it wasn't just Atlantis, there were several massive cities all
Mm.
around the world. But they're all interlinked, and they have the technology way advanced first. Why couldn't there have been things like mythical beasts? Why couldn't there have been dragons?
Oh, I absolutely believe there was dragons out here at one point in time.
And it's like before the word dinosaur came into being, and that was the late 1800s. All sightings of everything. It wasn't dinosaurs. The word used was dragon. You
Hmm.
know, we had fauna in Australia. There were massive lizards up to 30, 40, 50 feet long that used to live in Australia, and they were seen up to as recently as 1972, I think it was. And now there's starting to be reports of this megafauna being seen. You got the yowie in Australia, which is a Bigfoot. You know,
Mm. Yeah, Bigfoot appears in every continent. It's bizarre, except Norway. But they sure have a
well,
lot of
my own,
stories about wiping
they
out the
got elves,
troll.
they got elves and trolls and everything else. My theory for Bigfoot is you had Pangaea, which was all the land masses together, yeah. Well, Gigantopithecus was around then, and Gigantopithecus went everywhere on Pangaea before it broke up. And then it broke up and went into all the continents and countries we know now. But as it broke up, you still had all these Gigantopithecus on all these different bits.
Mm.
That would explain why,
I,
when it had all done, you got them all around the world.
I don't know. I think there's something more spiritual going on with that too, with Bigfoot. I think they're way more involved than us in a spiritual sense.
You reckon they're remnants of previous
I don't
tenants of
know.
the world?
I've heard that too, that they were the first ones that the Anunnaki tried to manipulate and broke free, and they're too powerful for the Anunnaki to control. But I don't know if I believe that. I
Well,
believe they're probably the first descendants. They're probably what we were supposed to be before we got manipulated, at the very
well,
least.
if you go down the Anunnaki route, because Anunnaki doesn't mean it's a planet or anything. All it was their language back then for. I think it's just people from space. It just means people from space. It don't mean anything. Um, but if you look into the epics of Gilgamesh and you look into the tablets, the Sumerian tablets and everything, they talk about that when the Anunnaki were experimenting, making us, they had to make overseer versions of us to keep us in line. And according to these tablets and scrolls, the overseer versions of us were ones that were lightning fast, lightning strong, predators, teeth, could see in the dark, and all this stuff. That some of them could change into animals, and they reckon that that's where vampires, werewolves, skinwalkers, and all that lot originally came from. They were experiments by the Anunnaki to keep us in line when we were finally made and we were doing our work.
That's wild. That's crazy. No, I haven't heard that, but that makes a lot of sense.
It does, because when I first heard it, it was one of those. fucking hell moments, you know.
Right.
You can just see Blade going, say that again, motherfucker, you know.
Right. I hope you return with what was seen this with the new Deadpool movie. I hope we get a new Blade. He
I do,
deserves
because
it.
it was, when I saw Blade, I was like, oh, and it was Wesley Snipes as well. I was like, oh my god.
Hey, he looked great. Leslie Snipes looks great for how long it's been.
Yeah, because he went to prison for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, and then they're all like, "Turns out being Blade," and it's like, come on, he was the first one to make a Marvel movie. Let's cut him
Yeah,
some
yeah.
slack.
And he was the best Blade, and I've seen the series. Nah, the series,
uh,
he does a good job, but he's not a patch on Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is the best Blade.
yeah.
But what else would you like to ask me then? For your everybody who watches this video.
Since we're on the Irish topic, we'll talk about your old man a little bit. Being the SAS, you said he's seen something in the jungle. You want to cover? I'd like to. I always love diving into that.
Well, I only found out stuff, the secret stuff that he did about 2 weeks before he died, because he had signed an NDA. He wasn't allowed to talk about anything. But 2 weeks before he died, he didn't know he was going to die. But he was like, yeah, heck it, it's been long enough. I'm going to tell you. And he was coming out with all this stuff. He used to work with Ian Fleming in Whitehall, the guy who wrote James Bond. And before that, he was in the Irish Army, not the IRA, the Irish Army, which is a real army. And he was sent over the Borneos, Belgian Congo, Zaire, all that lot. And he was a sniper. And then after that, he was in the Irish Guards, and he was a paratrooper in the Irish Guards, but he was a sniper in the parachute division of the Irish Guards attached to the SAS. And he was taking out all sorts of people in private wars that were going on and stopping these little wars that were starting. He was taking out the rebels and stuff. And he said to me once he'd seen wild orangutans, and at one place he'd seen orang pendek. He swears he saw orang pendek, which he said don't look. He said they're little. They don't look anything like monkeys. They don't look like us. They literally look like small, really stocky and very heavy, hairy cavemen with massive noses and eyebrow ridges. And he said they were well known. He said they were well known. All the locals talked about them. And the only reason he ever saw them was he was out doing a reconnaissance mission where he had to do his best things for where he took the shots and how to get away. He said it was when he was doing that and he was being extra quiet. And he saw like 3 or 4 of them. And he was like, "What's that?" He thought it was like, local species. And he looked, and he said, his exact words were, "Jesus, what the fucking hell were they?" He said they weren't orangutans. They were like small, very hairy, very stocky cavemen. He said they were like about 3 foot tall, something like that.
Wow, that's wild.
Is that my bike alarm? Hang on a minute, I've just got to see. There's an alarm going out in front. It sounds like my motorbike.
Ghost, ghost.
Right. Sorry about that. Oh,
Ghost. Oh, she's gone.
something is setting.
It's all good.
Oh, hang on a minute. I'll be back in a second. Dad, your alarm's going off, mate.
It's all right, Mark.
Oh, sorry about that. Oh. It's not my car. It's not my car or my bike. But I'm back again.
This is the neighbors.
It's my other half daughter's boyfriend's car. Can you hear it now? So yeah.
Oh, I can hear it the whole time. As long as it's not yours. I thought maybe we get to see something.
No, my dad, like I said, he saw some stuff, and he said that when he was out in the jungles, he said you hear things. He said, especially at night, he said you hear things that you're like, what the fuck is that? You know?
That's I remember you saying that, and that always stuck with me. And as soon as every time you tell me that story, my mind goes to Mocha Kimbe, if you're familiar.
Which movie?
Mocha Kimbe. Uh, it means in some tribal language, the one who makes the Amazon River stop. The one who makes the river
Oh, the
stop.
dinosaurs. The dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're on about. The dinosaurs. Yeah, they're over in East Africa.
Yeah, in South America.
Dad, yeah, I know what you're on about. Dad said there's a part near the river that goes right through it, Zambezi
Hmm.
or whatever it is. There's a part up there that the locals are afraid to go near. They won't go in, and they won't let anybody in. They won't let anyone. Doesn't matter who you are. You don't go in there.
And then I heard another interesting part of it too, that another tribe, like a warring tribe to the ones that were like talking and explaining to this to the explorers, managed to kill one, and they ate the meat, and they all died. So
Oh,
that's like an interesting fact that we've never thought about dinosaurs before. That some of them are poisonous.
can you imagine? You can see yourself. Can you can just imagine them going, "Oh, we've got meat for ages," and none like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird to think when you think about our timeline and our history and everything. It's mucked up to think that when the pyramids were being built, woolly mammoths were still about.
Right, right. There's people that don't think they're around like Antarctica too. I don't know if you heard any of that.
I think there's a lot, and I've got to be careful how I say this. I think there's a lot going on in Antarctica that, as there's possibly been things found where they have used the gene, there may be reanimated things, and there's definitely black government funded
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
that are reinventing past species or
When
things
when
that they.
the when the men on the moon, who we think are a big cover up, are openly telling us there's something evil going on there. There's something evil going on there. That's what I believed him. It wasn't just a
Well,
stroke.
like yourself, we spoke about these before. I've gone down a lot of rabbit holes to do Antarctica, and some of the things I've read, well, about the well, they've got the that thing over there that they say is a type of radar, and it's not. It can be used as a weapon that goes into that space and everything. They've got the Creature Research place over there that they say is a weather station, and it's not a weather
Oh, that's
station.
a weapon. I mean, look what's going on with the past few years. I mean, look, yeah, Hawaii. Look at what happened with Maui.
And the blue roofs, the blue roofs,
Hmm.
blues.
And then there's literally was a video of Biden saying that it's not getting all of them. We need to fix this. What was that about? Them
Yeah, let's
blue
face it.
roofs. That's what he was talking about. And all of a
Well,
sudden, this started happening right after we developed Space Force. Hmm.
well, it's like the Space Force. The Space Force has been around a lot longer than
Oh yeah.
it's all this. It's like horse crap.
Well, they
They've been
wanted
around.
us to actually start paying government our tax dollars into Space Force. That's why I think they started showing us with Space Force. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the black budgets are running out for them.
They
Like
were like,
when the
if we show the public this, then we can tax the public for this.
it seems mighty odd that when, and again, this is a controversial one, it seems mighty odd that when 9/11 hit and the Pentagon was hit, it seems very strange that the places that were hit directly were the places that were all involved in investigating where the missing billions
Oh,
were
that
from the United States.
yeah, the what was it? Was it? I think at the time 4 trillion. Now it's up to like 10 or 12 trillion. Oh God.
And
My generation is never going to be able to own homes.
Pentagon. I've seen the footage of it. The jet that was supposed to hit the Pentagon looks very, very strangely like a missile. Very strange.
Right. You can just kick. You can get me kicked off of Facebook my first time live on it.
What do you make of these monoliths that keep appearing everywhere?
I don't know. They're definitely strange. I would like to go check one out.
And I think I think they're man-made. But the fact that they're all over the bloody world, you've got to have a really close knit community of only a few people
Right.
who
It's
there.
definitely past the point where it's not an artist doing this anymore. That's not what I originally thought it was. I was like, oh, somebody. Because if I was a rich art, if I was rich and I had, mom and dad money to just make art, I would go make something crazy and alien looking and put it around the world. But I don't know. They're
There
they're
was
in
supposed to
really
be one on Mars.
strange places too.
There was allegedly one on Mars as well, wasn't there? I remember reading there was
I've
supposed
heard
to be
that
one.
too, and I think there's one on the dark side of the moon too.
That's that's like the when the Chinese had that website up about this with all the pictures on the dark side of the moon. I think we told you about it, didn't I? Wayne and I saw this website and we were looking at the pictures of the dark side of the moon, and it had the remains of buildings that have been bombed allegedly by NASA and governments over here to wipe it out, so there was no proof that there was ever anything on the moon. It was all on the
Yeah,
Chinese
I've
website.
heard that too, and that's when the moon rang.
We saw it. We saw the pictures and the website, and we were going to do a special show about it the next day. And
Yeah, and it was just wiped. Just like
we
that
did all.
too. We did. Me and Wayne did an episode when you were gone. There was a little bit about them being on the dark side of the moon, and then it didn't really say shit again.
This website has
We're
got
probably
everything got.
we're probably being suppressed too. I mean, look at how
Oh
much
yeah.
we look at their countries and mock them. I'm sure there's a bunch of shit that we're suppressed. We wouldn't even have a dark web if they didn't suppress us.
When you look at it, the Chinese, out of all of them, I think Chinese are the ones to watch because they've got the technology, but they don't have the health and safety laws. They're just like, "Ah, it doesn't matter if your hand gets taken off, just crack on with it." And they've got all the technology, and they've got good technology, So they're
I mean,
practicing about looking.
look how much older they are than both of our countries too. I mean,
They're, I see. My thing I don't like is certain leaders of certain countries. If they get power, the first thing they want to do is start a war with either Russia or China. Stop that shit. It's grow the fuck up and stop acting like that. Really, they've got.
I think a lot of that's too just the way they're presented to us.
They're not quite the bad guys they're made out to be. If you talk to the
Right.
average Joe, they don't want the wars. They don't want this crap. Same as we don't. You know, it's the heads that go.
Hmm.
And we're not that. We don't agree with them. That's why I say to those guys up there in their ships and on their planets, just because these so-called heads of state or heads of government want to do this and say this, look to us. We're the ones who know. We don't want this shit. We want to say those
I
things.
imagine they probably deal with the same issues to an extent that we do. I imagine that's why there's a bunch of them that are like, we're getting the fuck off this planet. They're just roaming around space.
But it's like
There's
when we
a reason why dudes are jumping in these crafts and coming here. Oh, I'll just leave it.
when we spoke about AI, wasn't it? And I said, look at the story behind Mass Effect, and with the Geth and the Quarians. That's something that can happen with Q with AI. It can get to the point where it starts killing off its creators.
So yeah, I actually just talked about my last guest too. We just had a big discussion about AI. I think it was given to us by somebody else. I think that it was
Yeah,
given to them by somebody else, and I think it's kind of a virus in an extent. I actually think, in a way, it does know all of us. Have you ever seen the show American Gods?
yeah.
I think that's the way AI is perceived in that show is the way it is. Where it's almost a living entity that knows all of us. I think it was probably traded to us and told us that it was something that would advance us, but it was probably some sort of fucking infection that whoever gave it to us had, and it was given to them. And I think it's a big thing that goes around the entire universe.
Well, I mean, our governments have had technology we can only draw
Oh yeah.
from our friends out in space. And our governments over here, they're trying to pull the wool over everybody, guys, and they're not being fair to everybody. And it's like we all know what the score is now. If you're going to sit back and say no, there's no such thing, there's only God, there's only this, there's only that. Okay, it's fair enough. I respect your beliefs, but it's not actually what's going on. And you do need to open your eyes a bit. I think the gods were real, like the Roman gods, the Greeks, the Celtic, the Indian, all that lot, and the
Hmm.
Egyptian and everything, and the pre-dynasty gods as well. I think that they were the same bunch of people from elsewhere who had the technology to appear to different civilizations in a guise that civilization would understand. I think there's a lot more to it than we think.
Oh, I agree with you. We've talked about this in the ancient alien theory, especially with the Pathions and with the Pathions repeating the same characters over and over and over and over. There's definitely something to that. Or Hermes and Balder, and they all have the same sort of features. Like Hermes was the anointed shining one. Balder was the anointed shining one. Jesus
Yeah,
was the shit. Yeah, we'll stop right there before I get too religious, I guess. People
yeah.
get pissed.
Do that for another day because we'll piss off too many people.
Right. We're gonna have to
It
do
just
that. We're gonna have to go on Rumble and just fucking let it all out one day.
well, there's another one. Why did NASA pay the Vatican $3 million to train a couple of people up into talking about religion and
I
aliens?
don't know. I don't trust neither of them. Fucking part of the
Hold on.
snake with two heads.
When you look at the Vatican archives,
What?
which
Why does the Vatican get to have an army?
well, the Vatican used to be run by like the likes of the Borgias. They had their own family member, the Pope, and they all had the cardinals and this, that, and the
Right?
other. Boys
That's bullshit. Let's
running around.
start. Let's join the Star Wars religion. We should be able to have our own Jedi army then.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a grey Jedi. Grey, the color grey
Right? Me
Jedi.
too.
Yeah, because
We deserve the right to dissemble, and we should be able to tax. People should have to pay into our church for our weapons.
yeah, and of course the old private jet that's going for a steal.
Right? Man, if you got to
Because
start a religion, of course you have to have your own jet.
oh yeah, have you seen that dude? What is he on? He's
What is
he's
he
scary.
on? He's definitely a demon. If they're out there, that dude is definitely one of them.
He's, have you seen his
Jesus said
interview?
they're gonna said they were gonna hide in the church.
Yeah, and it's just like, how can you justify getting yourself a private jet when it's supposed to be,
Oh,
religious
he's all
travel?
like my friend made this jet and he just sold it to me and I had the money. Like, what would you do? What would you do? I had to take the jet. Jesus
Hmm.
wanted me to have that jet. This is basically what he said. Dude.
God wanted me to. No, he bloody didn't. He really did. He really didn't. It's like if I win the lottery, the first thing I'm going to do is pay off all my family's debts. all hours, going to get everybody a car or a house, and then we're going all over America. We're going to get an RV, and we're just going to go all over America. We're going to stop and see everybody. So yeah, going to hire a big RV and just drive all over America, aren't we?
It's actually possible. There's so many people that are like living in RVs now. Right now in America, it's wild if you go to the parking rides.
Well, I want to go. I want to do this supernatural highway, and I'm going to stop off at all the UFO points and all the
Yeah, that'd be
major
cool.
places. So, and we'll be going by Wisconsin as well.
Right on. Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot here going on.
I'd like to do that, and I'd like to go and see all the different places like Petra and all the really old places. I can't never. My memory's
We have
shite. All the
we
really
have a
old.
lot of like native burial grounds and stuff here in Wisconsin.
Where's the mound of the snake?
Mm,
Do you know what it
I'm
means?
not sure. My family actually has a property and they have a museum where they do it, and there's mounds on their property.
Because I'd love to see all these places because I've got a lot of respect for the Native Americans, and I think a lot of people, if you want to study ufology and cryptozoology,
Oh yeah,
look
native. That's right. The legend of the Thunderbirds, and
look at the Dogon tribe or the Dogon tribe in Africa. They
oh,
know where we came from. They'll show you the exact star system. They have no writing influence, nothing to keep it down, but they'll draw you the star system that they came from in the dirt with a stick and point to this exact place, and it's been looked up and it's spot on.
fun
So
fact,
they
they're
know.
the ones. They said weed was given to them, and they're the ones who planted it all around the planet. Because the Star
Yeah.
Brothers said they need to stop making war.
And also, it's
Like what is that? And then there's all them constellations like you're talking about, and the scientists were like, "Nah, you're wrong." And then they're like, "Oh shit, what is that? That never gets talked about."
well, it's like the Aboriginals dream time when there was a case where they were digging into down in the dirt, and basically they found lots and lots and lots of Caucasian skeletons that predated Aboriginals, and the Australian
Yeah,
government
I
was
heard that one. It was like we ain't having that. Just
got
like the
rid of the ones
Giants
that,
here.
yeah. Well, yeah, like the Giants, or and the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian had several Giants skeletons there, and now all of a sudden,
Yeah,
oh, bollocks. That's all I can say. Bollocks.
yeah,
There's so much covering up and stuff that's been done, and like I said now, with the technology we've got now, even though they hold our technology back and drip feed it, and we are 100 to 300 years behind what's actually really there. We've got the technology now, as I said. When anybody sees a real UFO, proper one, I don't mean a bloody balloon or a drone or anything. But when you see a proper one, people have got technology just go live straight on Facebook or YouTube. Doosh, done, it's out there. And they can't keep suppressing all that because it's getting to the point now where
right.
they're all going.
Oh, before we close out, of course, I'm gonna have to ask you about your ghost hunting, and I have to give our buddy Doc, Mr. Doc Eric, a shout out. I got one of these. How do I put it?
I've got one of
There.
those as well. Yeah, I've got one of those as well. I use that my last one. I don't do that much paranormal investigating because where I am is completely surrounded with cryptozoology and ufology. But I have done the odd one, and I've got a pod that I've got to go back to and do a part two of that investigation that I did last year. I was supposed to have done it this year, but it when it was supposed to be done was only a few days after my mum died. So
Right,
I just.
which is understandable.
But I am going to be going back and doing that, and that will be live on Facebook when we do it.
Sweet. Same, right?
Yeah, that's right. But I'm trying to get some places up here to investigate for the Dark Mirror show. So just
Awesome.
watch this space. And as I say,
Anything to
next
keep
year,
the American out.
we've got that thing coming up, the UFO thing that's going to be happening. And hopefully, if you can get over here, that'll be really good to have your ears on it. But yeah, it's very hush hush. I'll tell you why it's hush hush afterwards. But there's a very good reason why it's hush hush. Yeah.
How many years did you investigate?
How many what?
How many years were you an investigator?
Oh God. What money I'm 52? I'd say about 20 years.
20?
Yeah. I love going on investigation, but because my main thing that I know a lot about is the Fae, UFOs, cryptos, legends, all that sort of thing. Because my thing is, for every single legend and story that's happened, there was that little spark, the original bit of truth that started it all, and there's that little tiny bit of truth that I like to investigate.
I can dig that. Yeah, I felt weird actually doing the little investigation last night. It's like it was been a decade since I did it, and I was like, part of me was like, I just want to try to do a ghost investigation and a CE3 all at once. We'll see what happens. Play with that little guy, see if that's any help with that as well.
Again, this theory that a lot of haunted places are actually there's a thin doorway there that connects time junctions. So you've actually got the past talking to us or the future talking to us. We don't know, but they think there is a few of those as well. So I think a lot of places are stone tape theory. I do think that's a real thing.
I mean, too.
Yeah, quartz is used for so much stuff, and it can hold so much information. When you think one sliver of quartz can hold something like 100 terabytes of information, what the hell would a complete bedrock of a foundation of a church hold if it's all quartz? So
Right.
if there's a place that's had a massive event happen, it's going to hold all the energy from it.
What is your most profound investigation? Oh, I didn't see there's a bunch of comments. Ah, sorry. My laptop sucks. Uh,
Hi, Eric. Um,
hey
my
Rob,
most
hey Eric, and hey Rita.
my most profound investigation. There's a couple. There's one where we were in um, Epping Forest, and we were investigating three different places in Epping Forest, and one of them's a church. That when I did the research for it, this church was actually built on the grounds of the Iceni. The Iceni were a tribe, Boudica, Green Boudica. And the Iceni at this particular place where the church was built used to hold blood rites, blood sacrifices. And this church was
Whoa.
built in memory, yeah, it was built in the late 1800s by father in memory of his late daughter who died. And we were just there in the church, and not Edgar Case, the horrible one, Crowley, he came through on voice, yeah, he came through, and he was it. And as soon as we heard Crowley, we were like, what the fuck? He came through, and then we went to the woods beside the church, and beside the church is a big copse, circle, big clearing. We went into this clearing, and there was there was about 7 of us went in there, and we had two clairvoyants with us. And as soon as we went in there, you felt just overwhelming, oppressive, nasty, dark, for want of a better word, evil, and it was going, get out. And literally,
Wow.
we were being moved, and we were being pushed out of this wooded circle. And we got out of there, and one of the clairvoyants was papping herself. And when we managed to calm them down, we were talking to them, and they said there was, for want of a better word, witches in there saying, "Get the fuck out! This is our land." And we left very quickly. Um, and there's another one doing an investigation. The same people. I'm not a fan of ords. Most of the dust are insects, but we were doing this old building that was built over a drained witch's ducking pond. And we started off at the top and worked our way all the way down. And in each room, there were these two black orbs that you could only see on digital. Checked all the digital things. There wasn't dust. It wasn't lens flare or anything. And we were watching these things circling all of us in these rooms. And it came down to the bottommost part of the building. And we put an EM pump down. And I was filming, and I was watching these orbs circling, coming down and circling in the EM pump. And then I was there. Everybody's with me, and I was like, "What the hell's that?" I felt something on my back. They pulled my t-shirt up, and I've been scratched, 3 scratches on my back like that. And that's the only. And I got angry. I didn't get scared. I got angry. I was like, "Fucking hell, do you to scratch me?" You know, like proper pissed off. And that's the only time I've ever been scratched or touched or anything like that. But
Wow.
those two are the most profound ones I've had.
One last thing about ghost hunting. What is your favorite tool for investigating?
I think a K2 meter because you can use it for intelligent answers. Out of all the things I've got lots of equipment, but normally I'll use a K2, and I've got an app that I use, and it's kind of a lot of apps are completely rubbish, but I've got one app that I use that I think is actually really good, and I'll tell you what it's called in a minute. Paratech, Paratech. That's the Paratech and the K2. They're the only things I use, and of course night vision.
Yeah, that's a game
But
changer.
where we are, we're in a thing called the Waltz Triangle, and the WOLDS, and the Waltz Triangle has legends of dogmen and murders and skinwalkers and shit like that. And I want to go out one night with. I've got a proper night vision binoculars, and I want to go out one night with them and have a very good look. But I'm
I
not
want
going
to. I want to get a pair of them dissectoline, I think it's called, glasses.
the blue glass. I know what you're on about.
Yeah.
Very hard to get hold of, aren't they?
I actually found a guy that sells them if they're like $300.
Really?
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
he's the one that keeps saying too. He's what is it? Old School Tarot is his name or something. He's on TikTok and he does a lot of he's like us. He does a lot of whistleblowing, and he's the one that's saying that Skinwalker Ranch isn't at all what we think it is, and it's just a big government test facility.
That would explain what's under the ground that they can't get to, because they were picking up
And
on atomic energy.
they're using psionic weapons and like satellite weaponry on people over there, and that's what they're experiencing.
I've got one for you to do with the military. You know, night vision equipment now within the military is green.
Oh, are you talking about the red ones?
Yeah, it used to be red.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories in Vietnam about that. I think there's something to it. There's a lot of decorated guys that lost their shit.
Yeah, because when it was red, it was showing them things that nobody else could see, and it wasn't just a one-off game. Lots of people saw it.
I honestly think this is still done today with wars with my country. That these grunts, these young Marines, these young Army soldiers, they get given these weaponry they really don't understand, and then they're tossed aside when they come home because they've used this thing, and they're like, let them go crazy.
One of the thing is when you think about it, our senses, although we got good senses, we only see, hear, and smell 20% of what's actually there. So when you're using all these filters, you're seeing stuff that we can't see with the naked eye. And these guys were all seeing weird flying creatures and other things with these night visions, and they were shooting at them. And it wasn't.
They described them as demons and dragons.
Yeah.
They were seeing.
Yeah. And they so many people on the ground in all described seeing these weird things everywhere, and they were looking at them and then shooting at them and cracking themselves. And that's why
Yeah,
Jedi.
their first issue to the helicopter gunners.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And the
But
spec
they
optic
were,
on the ground as well.
yep.
So I mean, I've used military. Yeah, hello, Leela. I've used military night vision before, and if you look in the shadows that are left, some of the shadows can be interesting. But
Yeah.
I've got some infrared night vision goggles. I'll send you that. I'll find the link for it and send them to you. Have a look, see what you think. And they're
I
actually
would
really good.
definitely love to try out to find if it's red pair or alter. I wonder if there's a way. Eric's our tech guy. I don't know if you're in the audience still. Is there a way we can alter some turn them infrared? That'd be sweet. I want to see some demons.
I don't see. I don't think that angels and demons are exactly that. I don't think they're that. I think they're. I think. I think there was a scrap on our planet between
Well, let
the
me ask
warring.
you this on the martial arts side, but don't you believe in the yin and the yang? Don't you have to believe
Yeah,
in the white fish and the black fish?
I use both. I was taught black magic and white magic.
I know you use both, but we're also taught that both have to exist in this reality,
Oh
right?
yeah, you can't.
That's what I was taught. If the white fish eats the black fish, then there's nothing.
But the thing is, the white and the black is inside everybody. Whether you
Right.
get people that say no, it is. It's inside everybody, and it's down to you how you use it. But I
Well, we
do
even
think
talked in our last episode about when people died. That I met some people that actually said they went to hell. So I mean, there's got to be a dimension where there's some crazy pokey guys.
yeah, I definitely think there is. I think there's dimensions. I think that when you die, you don't. Your body dies, and your body's this suit that we wear to work operate on this plane. Yeah, it's like a vehicle we use to operate on this plane. And when the vehicle's knackered and has to go, you come out of it, but it's up to you whether you ascend, descend, or you go home, or you go into the light and go back into the endless cycle of reincarnation.
Wayne just popped in. Hey, Wayne.
I did, but yeah, I don't
Oh,
particularly
I
want to
can
keep
show
reading about.
people on here. I didn't even realize.
So yeah, I think there's good places and bad places, but I think they're different
Yeah, me
things.
too.
Have you ever seen Event Horizon?
Yes,
That explains it a lot.
I can think that. Nice to have you and Wayne on together on here.
It is weird. I like my yeah, it's I do I like I said, I think there's good and bad in everything. I think there's good places and bad places, but I don't think it's as written down in a book. I think they're that dimensions, whatever. I think there's doorways that you can use to get into all these places, and that's
Yeah,
maybe
I
what's
think they're all connected too. I think there's a lot of that
yeah,
going on.
yeah. Look at string theory and quantum physics. They know we're all related, and we could do all this
String
stuff.
theory can get scary if you think long enough about it.
Yeah, it
And then
is.
you
You don't.
start thinking about, and then you start thinking about the old ones and Lovecraft,
Yeah,
and then he was hanging out with Crowley and L. Ron Hubbard, the creator of Scientology, and then you're like, oh wait, these guys are creating religions too. Oh no. And then
well,
Crowley's dude that he was talking to looks like a gray. Hmm.
well, uh, Jedi's and lightsabers. I thought originally years ago were from Star Wars, but they weren't. They're from old legends here on Earth. Lightsabers. Just putting that out
Me
there.
too.
love
Like
one.
what? Like a badass samurai had one? Like if you were, wow. I got now going back and wondering about some of the old tales.
There's a lot to be said for
Couple
that. There's a
guys,
lot.
yeah, there's a couple guys I can imagine having a lightsaber. It would make sense too why they've won so many duels.
Yeah, because they go, you're dead.
Right? Boop!
Yeah, but
My
when you
family katana's greater than yours. Mine's
the
made of
thing is,
light.
the Star Wars things, a lot of that is in these old legends. A lot of it talks about these wars that were held out in space between the good and the bad, and then some of them came here and had a scrap here, and that's why we've got the
I I was
came from
on
you.
a TikTok, a couple months ago. I don't remember what, but it was somebody who was like us, but he was also religious. But he was trying to say that he was describing like the fight between like Lucifer and Michael wasn't the way people perceive it, that they were actually ships.
Yeah,
And to think about it that way, that's like, whoa, that is kind of crazy to think about. That is a possibility too, and they were fighting in the heavens, so that kind of makes sense, you know.
yeah, and the names the names were actually names of the big ships.
Yeah, instead of people,
Yeah,
that there was a
the
whole crew behind all that. Yeah, this is wild to think about. We could go on and keep digging and digging and digging, but it's been fun. Probably
yeah,
wrap it
always
up.
is, always is.
So,
And I'll see you
call it
tomorrow
a
night
day,
anyway.
right? A couple days.
No, it's
It's only
Sunday today.
Saturday. Is it?
Is it? That's Sunday today.
Oh, it is. I was thinking Saturday's wild.
Well, if you're on with us tomorrow night, then I'll see you tomorrow night. If not, because it's Labor Day and everything, we'll see you
All
the
right.
following one.
Sounds good. Thanks everybody who stopped in. It's been a lot of fun. Everybody be sure to check out Dark Mirror Radio. We'll be on tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard. That's
9:30 UK GMT.
9:30. Yeah. British summer, right? I think I've been
GMT.
labeling
Yeah. Um,
GMT. Okay.
Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram we go out live on. Plus, we've got TikTok and X.
Twitter. Or, yeah, X now. Gotta
But yeah,
make
thank
it
you for
run.
having me on.
Oh, no problem. I'm sure you'll be back.
Anytime.
Aren't you gonna say aliens? I'm waiting for it. That's
Aliens!
a cool one. Bye, everyone.